The story begins in a small village. A window pops up telling him that he is now a supreme being. He will take the role of a fictional character in the iron-blooded engineer novel So Do Your Best and Good Luck. He finally understood it. It was like reincarnation webtoons that he reads so often. But here's the thing, why do I wake up with my face in the ground in the middle of nowhere? His mouth was acting funny and the windows make sure he knows this. These systems make him irritated. He was thinking about what his character is in this novel before he got interrupted by his assistant. His name is Javier and he is the main character of the novel. Now he is a regular knight, but when the story progresses he will become well known all over the continent as the swordsman Javier, and he is the light front of the hooligan. This will be a nightmare if they went back home. Javier told that he was drinking during the day and smashed the furniture in the bar, and while he was heading back home he fell into the ground. His father sent him because he was worried about his stupid son. He wouldn't want to mourn an idiotic son's dislocated mouth who died away from home. Lloyd notices that the ground is very cold, which will make sleeping impossible, and before Javier goes, Lloyd stops him and asks him a question. He asks if his family is drowning in debt, to which he replies that's a new word for him, and then slams the door behind him. Lloyd didn't need to ask that question in the first place because he already knew what would happen. The Baron and his wife will commit after getting swindled by a wicked con man, losing all their property, and Lloyd became intoxicated and in the end he threw up blood and died. What this miserable ending? He is just sad as he was in the real world. In the morning his mother, who is named Marbella Frontura, confronts him about what he did yesterday. He told him to go in to make sure to apologize this time. Lloyd told her that he will apologize him for his deeds. His reply surprised them. They thought that he was still drunk from the last night. They start walking in the village, but all the people were avoiding him. Even the child then told to don't look at him. They are all disgusted by him. He needs to change his image as soon as possible, and since he is the Baron's son he had the possibility to live an easy life till he died. He checks to see if there is any cheat system he can use, but the only skills he has right now are the scumbag and troublesome drunkard. This must be a joke. They finally arrive at the bar. Javier was looking deep into Lloyd's soul. There has been some change in him since last night. He looks like a completely different person inside the bar. Everything was broken. Lloyd apologizes to the bar owner, but still no one can trust him anymore. Lloyd says he is sorry, but he doesn't look like someone who is actually sorry. The owner was afraid of him. His image was a complete disaster. Lloyd asked why the bar owner was unhappy, to which Javier replied that the owner was unhappy because Lloyd had destroyed all of the furniture in the bar, which the owner had purchased through hard work and effort. Javier also mentioned that the owner's mother was still suffering from the cold from the previous winter and that Lloyd had also ruined business. Lloyd felt guilty about what he did while he was thinking about how they hadn't discovered the heating system yet. Suddenly he stopped and the idea came right into his mind. There is no heating system in this world, but if he just managed to build one, Kim Soho, who is a civil engineer, has come up with an idea that he believes will sell out in a short amount of time. This is possible because of Soho's experience in building houses and working as a construction worker. Soho has built many houses while serving in the army and has consistently worked as a construction worker day and night. He believes that this experience will help him achieve success with his new project. He will start with this and pay off all the debts. He will go back to the bar. He will get his first order there, but suddenly a new window shows up and his real journey has just begun. The RP system has been enabled. RP is the relationship point he can get by improving relationships with key characters. That changes everything. Lloyd didn't quite understand what was meant by RP, but he knew it had something to do with the key characters, so he looked at Javier with very suspicious eyes. His favorable impression of him was ridiculously low. He wanted to try something. He looked at Javier in a very attractive way and said that he is looking really handsome today. Javier was disgusted by him and his impression was getting even lower than before. He needs to stop for now before he makes him angry. They arrive at the bar again. Lloyd prepares the contract to build the heating system for the bar owner. He will pay for what he destroyed last time by this building operation, and as you expected, he didn't believe a single word coming out of this piece of crap's mouth. He even uses the mind wall skill to block any kind of mind manipulation. Lloyd doesn't have a choice, so he threatens the bar owner and then he immediately signs the contract without hesitation. Lloyd is such a scumbag. Finally he got his first contract. It was a pleasure doing business with you, sir. They went outside the bar. Javier asks him, why did you threaten the bar owner and forced him to sign the contract? This is a despicable act. Lloyd looked at him with calm eyes and told him that everyone expects him to be a scumbag because of what he did in the past. This is why no one will trust or believe him if he tries to be genuine and honest with them anymore. That surprised Javier, since when he started to talk with a reasonable mind he will make the bar owner and his mother happy. No matter what, their smile will be the foundation of his money empire. He started digging into the ground and hitting it with his shovel. Then he started to build using the wood from his family warehouse, but his body couldn't keep up with him. Is too tired, but he quickly gets interrupted by Javier. He was surprised about what he did. For the first time he did something useful in his life. All the parts of his body were hurting him, but he needed to keep going. He tried to slice the wood, but when he lifted up the axe he was about to fall, but Javier caught him and he took the axe from him. He wanted to help. He threw the wood in the air and with his sorting skill he slices all the wood into A perfect slice that was incredible as expected from someone who will be the greatest sword master in the future, but instead of thanking him for helping him out, he asks him to help him again in digging the ground. He must be curious about what he is trying to build, so if he can help him they will finish fast. He was dying to see what he was planning to do. They both started digging in the ground fast and quick, and finally they finished constructing the building. The long-awaited room was finally finished, much to the delight of the bar owner and his mother, who were enjoying the warm and cozy atmosphere within. The room looked great with the logo of their company proudly displayed on the wall. The bar owner was grateful to Lloyd for using his magic to make everything come together perfectly and for bringing happiness to his mother's face. Javier was surprised by the result. There is no doubt about it, Lloyd is now a different person. He still can't believe this actually happened. They both seemed so happy about it, and this itself makes him happy. His impression of Lloyd changed up 2 points. Lloyd paid a lot of money into building this, but that isn't a problem, because in the end this house is merely for promotion despite the room's successful operation. Over the past few days Lloyd faced difficulty in convincing the people to hire him to build a similar one. He presented them with a contract offering his services, but the people were hesitant to trust him. Lloyd resorted to threatening them in an effort to persuade them to accept his offer, but suddenly someone called his name. It was his father. His name was Arcus Frontera, and his impression of him was, in their mansion while they are eating, his father asks him about what he is planning to start this time, to which he replies that the owner ordered a heated room, so he built it for him. His father then told him to not lie to those people who can't stand his lie anymore. Lloyd was about to go, but his father told him that he must know by now his family's situation. But don't worry, your father will make it through. He heard those words before he came into this world. At that time he really thought that things was going to be fine, but it's a lie after all. He leaves and tells his father to not give up because he will hang in there too in his room. He was thinking about this RP point and how he can use it. The system then starts to scan him to see what he is good at, and while scanning the system finds all the civil engineering data in his head, and then gave him the skill he needed to be able to use what he knows to the max limit. In skills that he got was based on his current knowledge of basic measurement and basic design. Since he already got enough points, he chooses both of them. The first skill was the basic measurement, and this skill helped him measure using just his eyes, and the second skill was basic design. It allowed him to draw and design anything in his head very quickly. These skills will help him a lot to build what he wants, but still, if only he had the knowledge of making heavy machinery or the ability to summon them. The system answers him quickly by saying that it's possible to summon. Lloyd was excited after hearing this, but the system shows him a window of a random draw for a fantasy species. It requires a RP, and he only has 1 RP left if he was right. A fantasy species can be anything he can think of. They will be as useful as the heavy machinery. His goal now is to get as much RP as he can get to be able to summon a fantasy species. While he was walking, he met the lone shark guys. One of them is called Meatloaf and the other is called Shayla. They walked through him without greeting. Baron's son, this is disrespectful, but he quickly remembered. Then they went in the Baron's office and disrespected him. They told him that he had 5 days left to pay his debt, and if he keeps doing that they will not sit still any longer. Lloyd was listening to them while they were disrespecting his father. What great timing for him. It's his time to show up. Meatloaf told him that if he can't pay him back, he knows a good place where he can sell his wife and mates. The Baron didn't speak out of shock, but Lloyd walked into them and asked him, do you think it's all right to have no manner just because you're a creditor? He quickly gets away from him and then asks, who the hell are you? Once he knew that he was an idiot son, he calmed down and told him to not interfere with adult talking, and right before he finished his sentence, Lloyd asked him to see his invitation letter first. Both of them were confused about what he was saying. Lloyd then told them one of the kingdom's noble laws: every noble in the kingdom has the right to protect their rights and interests, and entering a noble's mansion without an invitation is equivalent to trespassing. Both of them become angry. They never heard such a law like that in their life. Lloyd tells them it's fine to let's check it. Then he called Javier and then he entered the office. Lloyd then told Javier to cut off the trespasser's arm. They called him crazy and asked him if he was trying to go to court or something. While he doesn't mind going to court to check this law and see whose side the court will take, they almost pissed themselves. They quickly ran away from the office. His father was scared about what they did. This will not help to calm things down. Lloyd put a bag of money and said that this money was not enough, but it will last for some time. His father told him to not extort money from people. Javier told him to not to be worried. He will keep a close eye on him. The Baron trusts Javier's judgment and decides to see what will happen. While they were walking, Javier asks Lloyd how an ignorant person like him knows about the law, and of course he read it in the novel. After the couple's death, the 2 lone sharks wanted to dig for their corpses and sell them, and that time he said that Lahai slices the 2 people's hands. Knowing the contents of the novel is a great benefit, and this is the moment that he's been waiting for. The Baron impression has increased, so he now has RP points as he planned. He is now able to afford one of the fantasy species. When the night came, Lloyd went outside to use random draw. He pressed the button and let the magic begin. Some gears show up. It was amazing. But there is only one problem: the spell was too small and it made some nasty noise. Right then a cute little animal came out of it. Lloyd was disappointed. He imagined a strong beast or dragon, but he got a cute little hamster. What a waste for his RP points, it's a total failure. The hamster was devastated after hearing this. He tried to talk with Lloyd and somehow Lloyd was able to understand what he was saying. He tells him that he has some wonderful abilities. Lloyd then asked him to show his abilities. The hamster then chews a little and spits outside some paper. It was a manual. The manual told him to take care of it with love with some sunflower seed. He will change his build. The red seed will make it huge and the blue seed will make it small, and the effect will last for hours. Lloyd decided to check it and gave him a red seed, and once he eats it, the effect starts. He has become 5 meters tall now, at least meters. Humongous hamster. The hamster was looking at Lloyd with arrogance. It had 3 skills in total: the excavation, the ground hardening, and at last cheek paw. Amazing. The heavy machinery problem has been solved. Lloyd just can't show the creature around. The people will get suspicious. He must bring a summoner's book and pretend to be a genius summoner. What a genius. He is so smart that he is going crazy. The only problem now he has to solve is the worker problem. Lloyd gathered the Baron army. He was angry. They were getting paid for doing nothing, and he will make sure to use them all. Lloyd ordered them to listen to him properly. They are soldiers in the army, and their job is to listen and do what they are told. They will do everything to revive the estate. It's the heated room construction for now. They have to move this soil to the construction site. The look on the soldiers was despicable. No one took him seriously, but he already expected that. But soon he got interrupted. It was the barony senior knight Newman. He asks Lloyd what is he doing by taking his soldiers with him, as Lloyd has planned. There are 3 knights in this estate. The first of them is Newman and the second is Bayern. And at last the novel's protagonist Xavier Azarhan. When things started to collapse, this person was the first one to betray and leave the Baron. Not only that, he sold information about the Baron to the swindlers. He is the one who has a lot of debt to pay. How can this piece of crap can be a senior knight? Newman told Lloyd that he couldn't believe that he made his soldiers do this dirty work. He can't accept that as a senior knight, while Lloyd tells him that he got the Baron's permission. Newman said to him that he can't understand how he fools the Baron, but looking at your past, it looks like you are using this military for your personal purposes. Newman asked Lloyd if he was wrong about it, to which Lloyd replies, no, you are absolutely right about getting hit by him. Newman was crushing his teeth with anger. Lloyd uses his shovel and splashes a bunch of dirt on the senior knight. All the soldiers were shocked. Even Newman didn't believe what just happened. He became boiling with anger. Did he just try to insult a knight? But Lloyd was pretending not to hear him and mocking him even more. Lloyd took his shovel and pointed it at Newman and said, let's go for a duel. Newman had enough from him, and he will regret this. He will absolutely smoke him out. Lloyd will have a duel with Newman in 1 month. He asks Habel to teach him how to use a sword, but is instantly rejected. He reasons him that his job is only to watch over him. Also, if he learns how to use a sword, others around him might get in a bigger danger. He is interrupted by Lloyd, who asks him if he was sure even if he gives him the cure to his insomnia. Habel is shocked as nobody knows about it. We come to know that he has already read and hence knows everything from the novel. He explains that as Habel is on the verge of transitioning from being a high-level sword expert to a sword master, his senses have so sharpened that he cannot sleep. Javier lets out a sign and accepts the deal and mocks him, as he was so sure that he will fail, as he has tried everything to cure his insomnia but had always failed. Look, Boyd successfully cures his insomnia, and now it's his turn to return the favor by teaching him sword fighting. The next morning Habel orders him to run laps, and without any complaint he starts to run with shocks Javier. As he runs he mocks him, as he thought that he would be not able to do it, and then he will say you don't have what it takes and refuse to teach him. Habel is shocked. While he runs, the memories of his hard work from his past life pop into his mind and motivate him. Now Habel is impressed and is ready to teach him. A screen pops up saying your approval rating by Javier increased by 1 point. We see the Baron having a chat with Newman. The Baron asks him to go easy on Lloyd, as he was the heir of the estate. He accepts it, but has already plotted to kill Lloyd, and as the Baron tries to interrupt him, he was also ready to kill both Baron and Baroness and disguise it as a suicide. 1 month has passed and we see Newman and Lloyd standing face to face for a duel. The Baron was really worried for his son. Newman asks him if he was ready. He swings his shovel and puts it on his shoulders and has a grin on his face and is ready for a fight.